Hello and welcome to another episode of Loudspring to Go, our little series by Loudspring where we catch up with some of our portfolio CEOs and other interesting people from the Loudspring group. Today I'm here in Helsinki on a very, well, it's an overcast day, but it's still quite nice. I'm here with CEO of ResQ Club, Sauli Böhm, and I thought we'd take a moment here to discuss how things are going, Sauli, and thank you for joining me in the show today.
Yeah, always a pleasure.
I'm going to refer to some of my notes, but I think the first thing that I was going to talk about today with you was what are your top priorities at the moment with ResQ after this kind of summer period?
After summer period, of course, getting back on track. Both users and partners are back from holiday, and that keeps us busy, which is a good thing. For the next months, we are very much focusing on bringing this company to break-even point, so reaching actually profitability.
Sounds nice.
Which is possible already probably during this fall. Very much that means that taking good care of our current partners and users, increasing the offering for the new users, opening up new interesting tracks, for example grocery stores that we opened up a few months ago, and then on the product side putting focus on the partner side.
Sure.
For this fall.
Well, I wanted to talk about that and the supermarkets I want to get to as well in a second because that's quite interesting. But on this partner side or the restaurant side, what exactly are some of the things that ResQ is doing at the moment that's kind of really pushing the boundaries of what's possible, I guess, in this space?
Yeah, how we see that the best way to provide value for the users is to have the best possible offering and as much as possible, and that comes from not only acquiring new partners but actually retaining them as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And for this year we have been focusing on actually developing something more than just the sales channel for the surplus food, so being more than we were in the past, and that means nowadays that we have moved a bit upstream for the partners, providing them insights and data about their performance and how other similar kind of restaurants, for example, are performing in the same space. Then, of course, minimizing their time invested in ResQ. So, for example, launching native apps for the restaurants. That's one thing in the pipeline for the next weeks. So restaurant includes more than just the one owner for the ResQ. There's a catering staff, there's a kitchen staff, and we want to penetrate into that environment a bit better. And the best way to do it is to sort of have entry points for all those stakeholders in the restaurants, and native apps are one sort of step towards that direction.
Great.
Helping us to communicate stuff a bit leaner way to them, a quicker way, and making a routine out of using ResQ for more than one person in the restaurant. Yeah.
You mentioned time's like this critical factor as well for the restaurants, right? I mean, have you ever worked in a restaurant? I've worked in a few back in the day, but time's like the most important thing in those places. It's quite interesting. So how has this feedback come to you from the restaurants? Has it been like a process of reaching out to a few of the partners, or how do you come to these conclusions about what they need?
Just keeping up the communication and asking feedback continuously. That's the case. I've been working in the restaurant in the past, but I cannot say that I know restaurants, and that's something that has been the major focus for our company for this year, to actually understand that side of the marketplace a bit better. And we still have a long way to go, but gradually we have a better understanding on what the routine actually looks like in a restaurant. And time is money, and and for that reason we want to sort of make use of ResQ as easy as possible, but also in a very sort of convenient way that that it actually adds value for the ones that actually use it.
Totally, totally. Well, that's an interesting update on the restaurant side. A new grouping that's kind of come to light in the last few months, you said, was this kind of supermarket or the K-market ResQ bags or some kind of mystery bags you were saying. What's exactly going on there? What's this all about?
Yeah, so we started a pilot project. I think it was late April with few grocery stores here in Finland, K-markets, and it was pretty much just a testing period on how shopkeepers adopt ResQ, how they feel about actually using that, and furthermore also like how users adopt the offering from grocery stores. And at the moment we have about 31 weekly selling grocery stores here in Finland, K-markets. We have around 50 registered. So it's,
wow. So it's expected to have more availability.
Yeah,
soon.
It's definitely increasing, and for users, it's a super good value proposition. You can get, as you said, surprise bags. It could be a vegetable bag, a bakery bag. During summer, we had barbecue bags as well.
Yeah,
and so sort of building those bags around clear themes that the user actually knows beforehand what he or she gets.
Yeah.
And as said, a massive discount from something that is in great quality, and you can actually get a lot with less money.
Does it seem, you and I were having a bit of a chat before we started recording, but is this kind of approach for the supermarkets, is this something that you think has legs? You know, is it something that could be transferable into other markets, like into Sweden, because it's currently only in Helsinki that this is taking place?
In Finland, we have also grocery stores outside Finland.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely, that's also part of getting to know the partners a bit better.
Yeah.
And yeah, K-markets is one interesting vertical. The routine is a bit different compared to, for example, restaurants over there.
Sure.
So during this fall, we just want to educate ourselves more about how we can then cater grocery stores a bit better. And yeah, answer to your question, definitely.
Yeah, cool.
Definitely.
Because the impact increases, right? You know, those supermarkets are a huge waster of food, right?
Yeah, definitely. There is, and the very good thing has been that ResQ has been adopted super well among the shopkeepers over there. They talk to each other. They like to benchmark what other shopkeepers are actually using. And currently there is a very good momentum within K-markets about ResQ, and we want to keep that momentum up because they are very talkative. Yeah. So they are very eager to give feedback and ideas on how to actually improve the whole customer experience, all the way from how those products are getting picked, how the data of the products gets delivered to our platform, and furthermore to the users. So interesting stuff, and we have high hopes for this one.
Super interesting. It's definitely a space. I know back home in Australia, there's been a few other companies, not really like ResQ, but they're focused more on that big supermarket kind of bulk apples that are all going to go rotten in a couple of days or whatever. And that's been really kind of quite mainstreamed now in Australia, I know, but the stuff that ResQ's actually started with, that's really not happening yet, as far as I know, back in that market in particular. But on this subject of competitors, I mean, the idea of saving food is kind of mainstreaming quite quickly, maybe quicker than most of us thought it would happen.
Especially in the Nordics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's there's obviously a competitive landscape out there, but what's your take on this kind of momentum now behind this kind of saving of food?
I'd say that the space is still quite nascent, but in a very short period, there has been how to put it, more interest towards this space, not just from the stakeholders of the marketplace, but also from investors and municipalities and so on. So it's a very growing trend at the moment, and for that reason, I think it's a good thing that also more competitors actually appear in the space as well, because it's all about educating markets where this trend is not that topical yet. In Nordics it is, but there are still markets, for example, in Europe that it's sort of a gray zone and perhaps not that understandable, and for that reason I think it's a good thing what's happening in the space at the moment.
Sure. What, on this question though of like kind of competitors and whatnot, like what are some of the main differences that you, just for the viewer listening to this who's like, oh yeah, ResQ is just like every other one out there, what is maybe the three main points or differentiators that you kind of attribute to ResQ in this landscape?
We consider this as a long game. And we consider that how we develop the company, how we develop the product, we see that that's the key thing, instead of now, for example, for us, a massive geographical growth. We know that there's so much to do with our product before it's sort of applicable to all the markets, and that has been sort of the major focus for the past months for us to build it beyond what it was in the past. And I see that currently our product, not just on the user side, but also gradually on the partner side, starts to be very different compared to our competitors' products.
Yeah.
And for that reason, our two competitors in Europe are all about geographical growth, which is good. As said, I think it's important that markets get educated about this thing, but we see that we are better to actually go, for example, second to the market with a much better product, with a much better offering, because, as said, it's not just about acquiring partners and acquiring users and increasing offering, but it's about actually retaining them.
Yeah.
And that's where we come in, that we want to be the ones that are almost impossible to switch off when you actually start using ResQ.
So we can say thanks to the other competitors out there for educating the market in advance for
Exactly.
ResQ's stampede.
Exactly. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, keep up the good work. Well, look, that's a really great update. There was a couple other questions I was going to throw here, but I feel like the listener or the viewer has probably got a lot out of that. So thanks for the update. I hope did you get a bit of a break over the summer yourself? I mean, I know everyone else in Scandinavia and the Nordics seem to do nothing for a little while there. Did you actually have a chance to stop?
I think
that's it.
Yeah, there was a short time for to take a breather.
Couple of hours,
and now there's a good energy. And as said, the fall looks very promising for us. So
that sounds pretty awesome to me.
All right.
Hope that sounds awesome to you too. Thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned for more from ResQ, and check out the K Market and get one of those mystery bags. Let us know. Tag us in.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.